Hey, welcome to Command HQ. I'm trying to do these really short streams lately. Uh, Last night was kind of an exception, but try and do 15-minute streams here. I've been watching a lot of Neil Johnson on YouTube, and Neil kind of set that standard for 10 or 15-minute streams to talk about one or two topics, and I think that's a good pattern. Anyways, um, I read a lot. I'm a prodigious reader in that I'm constantly scanning articles, scanning comments, looking at sort of trending news items, just kind of getting a sense of where people are with respect to some of the tyranny that we're under in this country, as well as you know um, affording myself a chance to understand how to, I try and stay out of as much as I possibly can. And it seems like whenever I insert myself into something, uh, things blow up in my face. But regardless, I certainly will never back down. And I know that whenever I personally get involved in something, um, they immediately try and accuse me of a crime if I publicize it, if I post anything on the internet. And anything over the past 10 years, that has always been the case. And so it's just utterly ridiculous. Um, but I try and understand things independently before looking to external sources. But I saw this tweet by Laura Loomer, and I've been reading a lot of Laura Loomer tweets lately, and I feel like some of the stuff that she's been saying about some of these other women or whatever that she's just been going off on, it's just over the top. And she's clearly very aggressive, but it's just a little too assertive. So when she tweeted this out, look at it, you know, she's sad for President Trump, sad for this country, sad for what's happening to him. Um, I agree. And I'm sad for this country more than anything. I'm not sad about the personal experiences and the tyranny that I've faced and continue to face, but I'm sad that people can be terrorized and their families can be terrorized for years on end for simply speaking out and doing nothing wrong. Um, so yeah, of course you get trolls in here, but there's also, yeah, I mean, so not the time to be emotional and depressed. We have a date with Destiny to save this country. And, when you're in the thick of all this stuff, the only thing that I can gather is that God puts us in these positions for a reason. I think, God knows us better than we know ourselves. And God knows our heart, and God knows our experiences in this world. And uh, God gives us experiences to train us for the opportunities that we're ultimately given, and we have a choice to accept that. I always accept that. And I know that all the experiences that I've had in my life have led me to the moment that I'm at. And I'm not just talking about anything political. I'm just saying that just anybody, you choose to accept the position that you're in, and God never gives you anything that you can't handle. So I was under intense stress earlier last week, and I prayed, which I do constantly. I ask for God's guidance to come in. And immediately when I do that, it seems like almost within a few hours, I have a mental or emotional solution. And as long as you stay clear-minded, don't do any drugs, stay focused, continue to work hard, keep your principles, um, realize that when you do make mistakes or you stray a little bit, it's not the end of the world, that everybody makes mistakes. And that's what I constantly tell myself. I make mistakes all the time. Um, Nothing that's, it's usually just like paper mistakes. So those are the things that I emotionally tell myself, and I'm firmly aware that there's this fabric and mesh of destiny that we all live in, and we have to fulfill what is given to us, and we make that choice. God never gives us more than we can accept. So yeah, you're not alone. The sadness is felt all over the world. I do feel this weight of sadness. We are battling hard. While it's understandable to feel that initial melancholy, I would suggest that we're kind of past the point. If they destroy him, it's a funny comment. That's good. I love Trump too. In 1860, 10 Democrat states kept thinking off the ballot. Sound familiar? Growing up, my mom used to tell me the story about Abraham Lincoln and the stress that he was under during the Civil War, and how kind of in the middle of the war he was so um, clinically depressed. And then I don't know when his son Ted had his medical issues too, which probably exacerbated some of it. But he was so stressed, and he was walking those battlefields and seeing all of the death, and it must have just been too much for him. Um, and by the time before he died, people said that he was a completely different person. Yeah, I do like this Mario Rado for Congress, and somehow throughout all of this suffering, he is able to smile and laugh and keep fighting for us. God bless him. Maybe that's the key. Keep the comedy, keep the jokes coming. Just terrible what they're doing to him. It's starting to happen to anyone on the right who supports what's right. Again, that's been happening to me for the past 10 years. If I post anything on the internet, it's immediately investigated. I'm immediately accused of committing a crime. I have so many federal and state gag orders on me, that I reached a point where I just simply didn't care. I wasn't going to do anything stupid. But if someone wants to go to the lengths that they've done to me, and I'm dealing with people that, you know, I can't talk about it. But see, I have to self-censor myself, and then I get upset because it's normal for the human brain to kind of like go into it and start talking about something, and I realize I can't in this context. All I can say is that there's so many federal gag orders on me as well as state gag orders. It's so ridiculous. And so again, whenever I post something on the internet, boom, I'm immediately accused of a crime. Anything I post on the internet is never a crime. I genuinely feel sad for Trump. He doesn't deserve it. Not after what he's put this country through. Trump sacrificed everything in his personal life to serve our country. He got poorer for being president. All other presidents got richer after leaving office. Tells you everything you need to know. That's true. Any normal person feels bad for him. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. That's true. I think we also have um, part of that where we feel bad for ourselves and we feel bad for our family, we feel bad for our friends, that are not only living vicariously through this, because a lot of people are, but also the January Sixers who are being tortured in solitary confinement, being kept from their families, and most of those people didn't do anything wrong in that they didn't commit any violence, they simply just walked through the Capitol. And uh, if someone committed violence on January 6th, they should have, and they have been, but they also should have been held accountable, but they shouldn't have been charged with felonies. If anything, they should have just been charged with a misdemeanor. I was watching, I should have her website up. Rachel Powell, who was a single mother in Pennsylvania, and she was convicted of, I think, a felony and several other misdemeanors for breaking a window that day. And she said that when she went in for sentencing, they used anything that she said online to defend herself, and this was over the course of several years, against her in sentencing. And they believe they sentenced her to something in the range of 5 years in prison. A mother in Pennsylvania. She looks really great, by the way. She looks really young and she's got a lot of energy, and she apparently has 8 kids, and she doesn't look like she would. So she broke a window. She apologized for that. She said, if anything, I should have been charged with a misdemeanor and had to repay the cost of fixing the window, which seems totally reasonable. Totally reasonable. Instead, and this is also the case with like Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin didn't intentionally kill George Floyd. George Floyd died because of a drug overdose. And everybody knew that immediately. I'm not the biggest fan of cops, but Derek Chauvin should not have been charged with a felony. He should have been charged with, if anything, just a misdemeanor, and that's it. To ruin someone, and then now have him, stabbed 22 times in prison for this, and put him around other people who want to do him harm. Unbelievable. And yeah, so vengeance isn't the answer either. It's not. Retribution is not the answer. I realize people are pissed about what has happened to their own families, what has happened to them, what has happened to this country. But I'm telling you, vengeance and retribution is also not the answer. Um, there's a great book, The Count of Monte Cristo, which goes into this. And the only thing that can solve this is exposing the rot in this country and holding people accountable, but not through any, you know, only doing it lawfully, only doing it peacefully. Don't go overboard. Don't, getting people who shouldn't be in government out of government. Forgiveness is the strongest antidote to this. Not forgetting what they've done, but forgiveness, but still holding people accountable. There are things that are unforgivable. I agree. Chin up. This only makes victory that much sweeter. Steady now, have a not recharge that inner fire. I never feel sad for Trump. He's strong and he gets stronger through hardship. That is power. Same here. It's horrible what they're doing to him. He doesn't deserve this. Have we ever had a president? I mean, the real argument here should be, have we ever had a president, Joe Biden and Barack Obama, who have lodged unending lawfare against political opponents, indicting their political opponents, um, indicting half this country. See, the hacks on democracy that they figured out, which is to indict your political opponents. Anybody could do that. Anybody can find these little things, these little, and then use power to somehow pressure the DOJ to do stuff like this and indict people with false or falsified and fabricated charges like Joe Biden and Barack Obama have done here. It's a hack. I totally agree with you. I'm just glad he sees how much and how many people love him. You're not alone. I often feel depressed because of how unfairly he's being treated, and I pray for him. Prayer is a great antidote as well. This justice agitator here has got a lot of comments here. I feel sad for him too. We have never seen anything like this before, and the real criminals face zero consequences. That's true. You know, they can get away with everything. And if you so much as jaywalk, you're thrown in jail. In my wildest dreams, I never expect to see this in America. When we were growing up, we were never taught anything like this. We were never taught that the next 30 years of our life we would be facing a revolution of sorts in this country. Your emotional attachment to Donald Trump precludes you from being an independent source on presidential politics. You've made numerous contributions to the MAGA campaign, and you're regular at Mar-a-Lago and Trump rallies. You're a MAGA extremist, not a journalist. Well, you know, there is some truth to the fact that Laura Loomer is very close to, and therefore would get depressed for Donald Trump. So there is a small grain of truth there. The phoenix will rise. Thing is, God's in control here, not us. When we're facing this much oppression and this much tyranny, the only thing you can recognize is that we are not in control. And any plan that we have made, God will laugh at. They have treated Trump like a traitor for years. It's sick. Yeah, exactly. All these former presidents who have started war after war after war, and Donald Trump didn't start any war, didn't create any conflict around the world, solve conflict. I'm very sad, but I know they're getting bad karma. It's unbelievable how he is persisting. It's what you got to do. Someone writes hit pieces about you, you just go louder. Someone tries to unfairly press you, you lawfully fight back. A lawsuit. Pray for him. I think 2024 is going to be rough. What do you mean? It's already extremely rough right now, and we're a week away from 2024. January 5th, or January 6th or 5th, whatever that is, that Colorado Supreme Court stay expiration date, and then the U.S. Supreme Court has to either extend the stay or do nothing. That's going to be a critical juncture. We have so many other things coming out too, like the Epstein client list, or at least a redacted version of it, that Judge Loretta Prescott has ordered to be released in early January as well. I think that's going to have some impact. Who knows? Agree. It's truly evil what they're doing to him, all because he loves his country. If anybody can't see the evil, then they're certainly not on the good side. And I'm not saying that anybody who doesn't vote for Trump or whatever is evil. That's ridiculous. I'm just saying just the evil that's crept into this country, and that we now have a moral obligation to fight against, because God is watching. He knew this would happen. This is war. It has to play out. He really hasn't deserved any of this. There's got to be a term for the opposite of Trump derangement syndrome. I've felt sad for him since he began running and having so much pushback from day one. God is his strength. I feel the same. Not a decent, honest, patriotic country at all. You're not alone. I'm with you on that 100%, Laura. Rico, I'm with you, sister. Thank God he is strong. I feel the same. Stay happy. That's the best revenge. Then we fire them all next year. See, I like this. Homer's Donuts. Salty Staff Sergeant. Sadness will manifest into action. Susan, Leah, Bertrand. You're not alone in feeling this. Michael Mahoney. Feel the same. Many of us do. But we will never give up or leave him. Sonny. Very depressing. It's a dire situation. See, not a dire situation. Everybody knew some of this stuff would happen. The Colorado Supreme Court stuff, you could script from a million miles away. Everybody knew one of these courts was going to immediately take Trump off the ballot and try and create a chain of events. And it always happens at the perfect time, like right before the change of the year, or right before really important events for the electoral process, like the Iowa caucus or the New Hampshire primary stuff. They know what they're doing. Liberty and justice. I am sad too. This just isn't right. He will prevail. He has to. Brian, truth. Monica, I feel sad for him, for us and our country, which is no longer. Bob Dalkey, behind you and him 100%. Dr. Laura Amiako, it's beyond sad. It's disheartening as hell to know that a good man doesn't have a chance for leadership in this country. He has a beautiful family that he somewhat sacrificed for his passion for the love of the country, and it goes completely unappreciated and disavowed. It seems we are moving closer and closer to the wild, wild west. We must grow our own food, filter our own water, and we must take up arms to protect ourselves from the violence. The anger and the hatred, it's been allowed to fester and grow, and even encourage, in which once was the most awesome country on the planet. The veil of sadness and doom is heavy on the hearts of all Americans who will still had faith, loyalty, morality, and devotion to one's country. My eyes are starting to get worse, and I can't read smaller text. I gotta zoom things up. Which I've noticed as I continue to get older and older. So let's read a few more comments here before we shut this down. And just check the comments, see if anybody's commented. Paul Godot says, don't give up. Ozarks Curly. Keep the faith and we'll get through this. It's important to fight harder now. That's true. I agree with that. The more tyranny you're under, the more and the harder that you're gonna have to fight. Absolutely true. Tim Charles, I agree with you, Laura. Andres Segovia, ditto. Joe Schmo, AOC parody, me too. But I do not love Trump. Uncle Sam, thoughts and prayers, hon. Kari Baxter Donovan, I feel very sad about it as well, Laura. Deeply pained. Janot Keenan, thank you for all that you do. Lauren Yoon, no, you're not alone. I'm sad for him and his family and for this country. Praying for turnaround. Tracy Smith, I'm with you, Laura. Very sad. John Ramsey, that's the point. Demoralization. Chandra Almaraz, I totally agree with you on every word that you said. Osnat God. Sad emoji. Jan Krigier, I'm actually sad for all of us. Jed Spy, Jetter X, 100,000%, well said. Scary. Melissa, I'm 100% with you. Don't lose hope, Laura. Whatever is supposed to be will be. That's true. God's in control. Traveling light, we stand with Trump. Jonathan Pierce, we honestly don't deserve him. Well, someone had to step up and stand up against the tyranny. Rose Wilbur, I agree, we love him. And what they're doing to him is criminal. Yes, it is. Just deplorable. We love President Trump because he is us. Pete Riley, stochastic, deplorable. Feel the same way, Laura. It's really sad when you think about it. Antonio Milton, it is sad. I pray God comes soon. Suzanne Smith, tell me about it. It's gone. So these are comments just from random people, right, throughout the country, throughout the world. These are not indicative of me. These are not coming directly from what I am seeing. These are coming from other people. I'm simply just reading their statements. So I mentioned that I was just going to probably scan comments on some of these articles, Twitter, or even 4chan, which I've been doing because it's a good barometer of how people feel and what they are seeing around this country and not necessarily me. And yes, Laura Loomer is a pro-Trump account, so therefore she's going to have kind of an echo chamber in some of these comment sections. However, it is so overwhelming in that they are seeing the same thing that we are all seeing, which is this burgeoning sort of force overtaking our country. So we're not being gaslit. This is all true. Robin, he said he would take the arrows for us. Boy, has he. God is with him. Ninja, how can a man be a good man if he cheated on 3 wives? Oh, again, this is like a complete troll account. Not relevant to this, regardless. David, yes, I too am sad about what happened to Trump, what Trump has gone through. Few people have a clue about Trump. I'm also sad about the successful swamp coup d'etat. Josette Caruso, this was their goal all along. They intentionally set him up with the January 6th so they can now use it to, quote, legally keep him off the ballot. Don't you understand that? Their plan is being put into action now right before our very eyes. That is 100% true. And this is probably a good comment to end on because not only has it demoralized the base and all the families of people who have been involved in January 6th, which is probably the worst part of it, but it served this purpose now where they can then accuse President Trump of engaging in insurrection to get him off the ballot and hack the electoral process. Um, I do. This is a good photo. Pollock Joe, best photo on X, American flags. President Trump is holding a Bible in front of St. John's Church in DC, right by the White House. All right. I just got a tweet, or sorry, I just got a message from a friend who sent me something regarding this actually. So this is someone from a different country, from Europe, sent me a tweet image, and it's a meme or a photo. President Trump. Donald Trump declared ineligible to become U.S. president according to the Colorado Supreme Court. It's liked by 700,000 people. And then what I can read from the image, see if I can get it closer to my face. Again, my eyes are getting worse as I get older. The Colorado Supreme Court ruled on Tuesday that former President Donald J. Trump is ineligible to hold blah, 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 blah. It's from an account called Cubity. I don't know if this is a European account. I think it could be. It's a French account. Pubity. I don't know if this is Instagram or Twitter. Could be either. Hold on, let me ask. How do you feel about that? I'll just wait for the response. I'll read a couple more comments here. Shannon Dennis. He's a traitor. He deserves everything coming to him. Totally false. Liberty Shindig. You know, people who make crazy comments like this on the internet, before they say something like this, they should have to experience what they're suggesting first, so they know what they're talking about. Liberty Shindig. The only difference between Trump supporters and Romney supporters is that Trump supporters are bigger assholes. That's probably true, actually. Okay, so couldn't care less is the response I got from this European. That just shows you how out of it most people are. That they don't understand how interlinked all this stuff is. Again, she is European, living in France, and she's extremely concerned about this dual war front in Israel and Ukraine, but she doesn't have the intellectual ability to understand how interlinked all this stuff is. And not to say that President Trump is the only one who can prevent these conflicts from getting worse and worse and then finally molding into a World War III situation. I don't believe that. But I think out of all the options that we currently have on the table, President Trump is maybe him and Vivek from the Republican Party are the only ones who don't want war. And they're the only ones who have the resources to fight this. And they're the only ones who have the strength of character and will in the Republican Party that are front runners, at least, not just talking about average everyday people that can take this head on. Jazz Uno, and you smell like cat piss. Stop leaving that out. JD, it's very sad, but this is how I know President Trump really cares about us all. Gotta win a MAGA. True. January 6th hoax. Hang in there. He's coming. Pete, I feel the same. We will lose our country. And if we don't win next year in 2024, God bless President Trump. Freedom and a Jeep like that. Let's remain hopeful. Good work, Laura. All right, I'm going to close this down. Let me just check. Any comments? Nope. One viewer right now. It's pretty early in the morning. I'll stream again later today at some point. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And have a great holiday. Have a great Christmas. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for watching Command HQ with Brock and Agent X. We'll see you next time.